What's going on, YouTube fam? I hope you feeling good today. Hope you're in good spirits, good health. You and your family, I hope you're doing well with all the things you're dealing with, all the silent battles. But today I just want to chop it up with you about habits. We all think about them. We all want to develop those good habits, those ones that are healthy, things that we know we should be doing, but we don't do consistently. Or maybe we even start out with these habits. We start off on a good roll. We may last for a few days, a week, 2 weeks, however long it is for you. But then next thing you know, you start to slowly dwindle back into the habits you're trying to escape. And I've been there before. We all have been there multiple times in our life. I've been one that always struggled with those waves of different habits and stuff. I start off on a high note. I feel energized. I feel encouraged, motivated. And then next thing you know, life happens. Something happened in your life, and then everything just starts to go downhill, and you go back to what you were doing before, which is the thing you're trying to escape, and then you start to beat yourself up about it. The past few months, I've been consistent with sticking to all the habits that I set for myself. Those new habits, I've been finding ways to make them stick even during my hardest times. And I want to keep it real with you. It's not always easy. It's not always easy sticking to those habits when we hit those down moments. For those of you who's new here and you don't know too much about me, I'm more of a content creator, but I'm in a personal development space. I developed my passion and my purpose when I was going through some of my hardest times. I was at like one of the lowest moments of my life. It wasn't even a low moment financially. It was more of a mental, emotional thing because I was making good money, but I was overworked and I just didn't have a good work-life balance. Everything was always about make more money, get that overtime, make that money, make that money. But then in the midst of all that, I lost myself. I started to feel like it's something more to my life than this. It's something more that's missing. Because I'm here, but I'm angry. I'm not happy here. So what was that thing for me? And that's when I got into my personal growth journey. That's how all this YouTube stuff came about. Me writing my book, which is called Separating from the Pack. It's available everywhere you purchase books. Me starting a podcast. And all of these different things came from me realizing that it was something else I needed to do. And during this low moment, I did start to develop certain habits because for my work, I was driving a lot. So I did listen to a lot of audiobooks, podcasts, and things just to start educating myself a little bit more to find out what it is that I wanted to do. I was thinking about real estate investment, so I started to do that, started to go to different real estate meetups, started to try to wholesale, cold calling. I did so many different things, but I was never consistent at any of those things because I kept going back to my old habits, all the things that I was used to, everything that I was comfortable with. All of these different things that kind of distract us from our reality. Honestly, that's what it is. When you think about your bad habits, most of the time, it's the things that are easy to go to and they're a distraction that helps us escape the things that we don't desire in our life. And in my studies, as I was on this journey, I started to read more books, get introduced to different methods, get introduced to different ways of thinking. I won't go into the whole deep part of my story. I will talk about that more on my podcast. If you want to check that out, the link is down in the show notes or on my profile. It's called Diligent Minds. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. But I just want to talk to you about how you can start to develop those better habits yourself. And I developed these different habits based on trial and error, honestly. Finding out what worked, what don't work, seeing what really triggered me to stay on track with my different habits. So I want to share these different things that I discovered that work for me. And maybe they'll work for you, maybe they won't. You got to figure out that thing that's going to help you develop and maintain those good habits, because developing and maintaining are two different things. So one of the things that I started to do was I started to wake up early and I started to work out. I started to get myself active because I've always been a pretty thin person and I've always been insecure about my weight and about my body. So I started to work out. And what I noticed is that when I began to work out, it transformed other parts of my morning. And when I say work out, I'm not talking about going to the gym every day. That's not it. You can start at home. You can start by just going for a walk, going out and get some fresh air, going into nature, doing different stretches, pull up some workouts or home exercises on YouTube. Find anything that's going to get you active. And when you begin to work out, it's just going to do something to your body. It's going to do something to your brain. And you'll begin to feel good about yourself. Because if you feel good, you look good, you do good, you're productive. It just does something to your confidence. Then it just catapults the rest of your day. And I always heard about people talking about having a good start to your morning, planning out your day, planning out your week. First, I started out with writing out my goals for the week. And then that started to slowly trickle down to writing out goals for the day and how are those goals going to align with each other. I talk about this more in depth on a lot of my content, whether that be social media, even videos like this. I've probably created a video on it. If I did, I'm going to link it up here. I have to go through and double check, honestly. But you want to set sequential goals. When I say sequential, make sure it's your daily goals lead up to your weekly goals, which lead up to your monthly goals, which lead up to your long-term, like 6-month, year goals. Think about where you want to go in the next year, the next 6 months, and then start to work backwards. Start to do reverse engineering. Now, who is it that you need to become to achieve these goals? What is that you need to do every single day, every single week in order for you to achieve these goals? Those are the questions that you want to ask yourself as you begin to start to develop better habits than what you have at the moment. Start being strategic, start being intentional with your days, with your weeks, and about the way you spend your time. I put a link to my morning routine right up here. If you want to check that out to find out how I spend my day and see if you can adopt some things that may work for you, maybe they won't. But this is how I spend my day, where I find that I'm more productive throughout the day and throughout the week with hitting my goals. And one of the biggest things about staying consistent with your goals, it's about finding out how you're going to stick through those hard times. Because it's a guarantee that something's going to happen in our life, something's going to go wrong, and it's going to throw us off track. But how do you get back on track? That's the most important thing that most people struggle with. Like, you start off, you're doing good, but then something happens in your day, something happens in your week that just kind of throw everything off, and it diverts you back to what you were used to, diverts you back to what you're comfortable with. And when these things happen, you just have to take a moment and breathe. Allow yourself that room for error, because we're not robots. We're humans. Things are going to happen in our life. Things are going to feel like out of order at times. Things are going to feel like, why is this happening to me right now? Why am I getting challenged? And most of the time, the challenges that we're facing is because we haven't learned a lesson to get to the next stage that we want to get to in our life. And I realized that as I was working on myself, because I was always blaming other people. I was always blaming outside sources, making excuses, but I wasn't holding myself accountable. So accountability is a huge part of you developing and maintaining those good habits. You have to be hard on yourself. You can't sit there and just go halfway on yourself or make excuses. No, there will be days where you do go back to the old things. There will be days where you do slack off. But don't allow that to continue. Don't continue to let yourself to go down that slope. You got to continue to climb, continue to push and persist past all these hard times that you're sure to face throughout your life. The next one I want to highlight is your mental health. Pay attention to how you feel, the things you're telling yourself, all of the lies that we may be telling ourselves because of past experiences, past things that we believe. We have to change our mindset, develop a better mindset around your life. Know that everything you put your mind to is possible. Develop a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Don't make excuses. Don't worry about what happened in your past that's been hindering you for so long. Let those things go. If you continue to hold on to the things from your past, the things you don't desire, the things you wish to let go, then it's going to continue to hold you back. It's going to continue to keep you where you are right now, because you want to develop those better habits. And that begins with everything else around you. Something else I began to do as I was developing better habits was I changed the people that I hung around. What was triggering these things that I was doing? Was it okay because everybody else around me were doing these things? And I realized that that was the case, because they didn't see anything wrong with it. So they didn't hold me accountable. They didn't push me or encourage me to do more. They probably didn't even believe in my dreams when I was telling them what I was going through or what I wanted to do as I realized what I wanted to do. Pay attention to the people around you that's going to hold you accountable. Or are they going to tolerate the nonsense that you're dealing with? Are they going to push you to become a better version of yourself once you tell them that's what you want? Our environment influences a lot of the things that we do. The people we're around, the environments we're around, how we spend our time. All of these things have an effect on how we spend our time and how we're growing as an individual. If you remain in the same box, you'll be exposed to the exact same thinking, you'll be exposed to the exact same environments, and it's not going to challenge you. So get out of your environments, change the people that you're around. And that's one thing that really helped me begin to develop better habits. I started to see nicer things in the environments. I started to see people living a different lifestyle, and it encouraged me to create a better life for myself. The last thing I want to touch on about you developing better habits, and this is something I wish I knew in the beginning, so I'm going to help you catapult yourself to a next level with this one thing. And this one is replace. Don't get rid of your bad habits. For example, if you're someone who want to eat more healthy, then instead of eating chips, don't try to just get rid of them. Try to replace it with a better snack. So instead of eating those chips, eat some fruit or something, eat some nuts. Do things like that that's going to replace the habit, because our body is going to look for something to get that fulfillment. Instead of giving it the chips, instead of giving it the nuts, all the things that are unhealthy, all those unhealthy sugars, try to feed yourself some fruit, vegetable drink, or something that's more healthy that's still gonna give you that fulfillment that you're looking for. Identify those triggers for you and identify what craving it is that you're trying to take care of and replace with something that's more healthy, that's something that's gonna be more beneficial for you, that you know you should be doing in the first place. So I wanna remind you, as you on your journey to develop these better habits, you're on your journey to make yourself a better person overall, just focus on the small things. Continue to be consistent with it. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. There's room for you to grow at every stage of life. And developing and maintaining these good habits is gonna help you consistently get there, continue to help you consistently get to that next stage of life of where you wanna be. I want you to continue to push yourself. Don't worry about if you slack off. Remember, that's normal, but you have to get back to it. You have to hold yourself accountable and start to get back on track with it. Don't continue to let yourself slide down that hill. We got to continue to pick ourselves up, even if we feel like we don't have what it takes, even if it feels like you don't know what to do. Just take the first step. It's okay. You won't always have the answers, but the answers will always present themselves when you're seeking it, when you're going after it, when you're moving towards it. When you move towards it, it's going to move to you 2 times as fast. So go out there, start to begin to develop those better habits and start to create the life that you want. I'm telling you, if I was able to do it, if I'm able to be right here and share my experiences with you and share with you how I am as an individual today compared to like maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, then I'm telling you, you can do it too. It starts with that first step and with that decision being made that you want to become a better version of yourself. Go out there and begin to develop those better habits and see how you transform as an individual. You got this, so go out there and do that work on yourself. And remember, everybody has greatness within, even you.